I was a total loser. No dreams or ambitions. If I got myself out of that, anyone could get themselves out of any situation.
How you live your weekends is how I'm trying to live my entire life.
This guy is on some drugs.
In 1 year, we were able to grow a profitable company.
This might sound really harsh, but
It's weird.
all right. So welcome to the Peachcast. What is this? Episode 2. My boy, Aaron.
Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for tuning back in.
We're a little tired. Currently 6:17. He woke up at 3:30. I woke up at 4:15. Bright and early. Went and got some coffee.
That's the morning routine, waking up about 3:30 most of the days.
It's so funny, dude, because I would say 2 years ago when I was not who I am today, I was not a morning person. I woke up at like 11, just like, that's normal. I haven't woken up at 11 in a very long time. It's always like 4 a.m. I'm a 4 a.m. guy now.
What do you find like beneficial about waking up at 4 a.m.?
Just more time, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I was getting 15 hours of sleep, which is ridiculous. You don't need that sleep. If anything, that's kind of harmful. You don't need that much sleep. You need 7, 8, maybe 9 hours of sleep, but it's like, yeah, just get more time throughout the day. We've written down all of our goals for 2024. It's just like, we can't do all this and get 15, 16 hours of sleep. You need more time to do these things. So I'm like looking at the board, we just need more time. So waking up at 4 allows us to do that.
You know, I agree. That was the thing for me that made me spend more time. I had no other free time, and I remember that's when we got together and we're like, let's wake up at 4. And it's drastically changed my life, even on my weekends. I have a lot of stuff to do throughout just the week regarding PeachFit, other company I have, and then just regular housework, yard work too. I mean, I have a family, and that requires work as well. Any relationship requires work. So it's really about where are you going to delegate your time? Where are you going to get your time from? And the sacrifices you need to make to have time for other things. Because look at your screen time on your phone. And if you're on social media, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, that's time you could be using to better something else. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, you need downtime. You can't run at 100% all the time. You're going to fry yourself. You're going to be so mentally burnt. Yeah. You need that. I struggled with that for a long time. And I asked my brother, who's successful, in my opinion, at a young age. And I asked him, I was like, man, like I work so hard, and then I get home and I want to sit down on my phone and scroll for like 30 minutes and just kind of zone out.
Shut off.
And just shut off. But I feel so bad because I feel like I'm wasting valuable time, and even wasting that 30 minutes just scrolling and messing off is going to stop me from achieving my goal. And he told me, and had a talk with me about you need productive unproductivity, if that makes sense. That's saying you need those resets. You need that time that even though you're being an unproductive person currently at that moment, that's recharging you and it's being productive for you down the road.
That makes sense. I'm the same way. Scroll for a little bit, but it used to be really bad. And it was unproductive activity. I wasn't needing to recharge for anything. I was just kind of lazy. It's definitely a good tool to have, for sure.
One thing that's changed is video games for me. I used to love video games, play them all the time.
We actually just played not too long ago.
We played Fortnite.
We played Fortnite for like 30 minutes, and we're just like, it's getting late. It's like, 8:50 p.m., right? And we're just like, I'm going to bed.
I'm like, I got to go to sleep. I was like, I'll see you at 4 a.m. tomorrow.
It's just crazy because like 2 years ago, I was like playing games for like 7 hours. I was a total loser. Yeah. Total loser. I was playing like, there was times where it was like 7 hours a day. Like I wake up, at 11, play till 6, 7, eat obviously throughout the day. Yeah. No dreams or ambitions. It was just like, I don't know what I was thinking doing that. Good thing I got out of that. It was terrible. And it's just quick dopamine. Yeah. And it's just same thing with like eating food. It's just like that quick dopamine. Obviously eating junk food isn't going to benefit you in the long run, and neither is video games. And they're, I think, directly correlated. So that's kind of like where I was, and not good. If I got myself out of that, anyone could get themselves out of any situation.
One of the things I've realized for me personally was talking about that time management again was I could either play video games or I could spend time with my family. And, now having, a wife and kid, it's like, what do I do? Yeah. If I go play video games, what am I missing out on life? I'm missing watching my daughter grow up. And
I'm sure it's like to that point though, where you don't want to play video games. You'd rather spend time with your daughter.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
by far. Yeah, I'm like, video games don't really make much of a difference or benefit me like as much. And like you said, it's quick dopamine shots. I know you for a fact. You've shut that console off before. You shut the PC console, whatever you play on. You've shut it off before, and you immediately go back to how you felt before you played.
Yeah.
And it's just like switch flipped, and you're like.
Same with food. You eat something, you're just like, what?
Back to reality.
And it sucks. And you were talking about like your kid and your wife, and like when you're on your deathbed, are you really gonna remember like, oh, remember that one snipe I got on Call of Duty, dude? That one headshot, that was sick.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna be thinking, man, I remember when you first started walking. Yeah. Like that's the stuff you're gonna remember. And like, so video games, in all reality, are just so stupid. And that might be a little controversy, but it's just like, it's for the most part, it's stupid. Again, it's productive on productivity.
Time and place.
There's a time and place for it, but like 6-7 hours of gaming, dude, is not good for you. Get out of that.
You do it once a year. If you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna binge once a year. Everyone binges on something. At least once a year. That's the honest truth. I go through times where like I do things that I know I shouldn't, but it's just that break that you need from the productivity cycle. It's kind of like going on vacation. I make it a very a little bit more of a lengthier. I make it a very good point to go on vacation. Yeah. And when I do take vacation, I take bigger vacations. I take more expensive and further away, longer vacations as well. Typically, I'll leave for like a week or 2 weeks, because when you're going for 6 months at a time, it's like you need that long break. I feel like when you take an expensive vacation, when you do something that's worth your money, you go, this is what I've been working for this entire time, is to have experiences like this. And it gives you a sense of appreciation, and it resets you. And you're like, as soon as I get back, we're going to go back to work so I can do even better than this next time. Grinding. It's like a motivation. It is. Yeah. How have you been feeling lately as far as with life, with where you're currently positioned at in life, with what you've been able to achieve and what you have ahead of you? That's a loaded question, man. That's a very lengthy question. Mentally, I'm there. I'm very happy how things are going, excited for what's ahead, and excited for the growth. We're putting in a lot of input. There's a lot of life things that, personally might be challenging here this year, 2024. If you feel comfortable. No, it's just like I want to be able to own a home. Own a home. I want a family. Just got engaged the end of 2023. Same day. We got engaged on the same exact day. That was really funny. And you didn't tell me that either. No, yeah. It was just like afterwards. It was like, what the heck? On the same exact day. So yeah, we both got engaged on the same day. It's just how much of a connection me and Aaron have, I guess. Got engaged. I'd like to get married. I'd like to own a home. Maybe that'll be probably 2026. I do want to have a family, but I don't know if that's in the books for this year because I'm just so focused on goals. Work, balance. School scares me. I don't want to go to school, but I feel like that's kind of something where that's a tough one. Schools is probably my biggest stressor because on all reality, I really want to focus on PeachFit because it's a true passion. I was always raised to do a 9 to 5, so that's still in me to do, which I don't want to. The safe side's go and get this degree. I know in the back of my head, me doing that is going to slow down. It's going to slow down the process of what I do here. So it's just micro decisions I'm going to have to make here and implement in the future. I think about that probably the most. I can relate to that as far as kind of like with my second business and stuff. Yeah, it's just so much. You have so much brain power. And if I'm at school 5 days a week, that's tough. Homework, studying, exams, everything like that. There's no way you'd be able to keep up. Yeah, so it's just, it's just those decisions where it's how do I implement time? And it's just super stressful. You work a certain amount. Let's just say you work 40 hours and you sleep 8 hours a day, right, on average. And then you go lift I lift for around 2 hours a day. Yeah. And then how much time realistically do you have for
what I want and basically what I need and the time gap I have to like accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish. It's like, that's probably my biggest stressor of 2024.
Yeah, school.
It's school.
School coming up. To go to school or not to go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're looking for that.
I'm really hoping I don't get accepted. But if I get accepted, it's like, all right, let's grind. Woo! Yeah. Day by day. We take things day by day here at PeachFit.
That is very true, day by day.
That's why having a family isn't in the books for this year, but next year I really want a family. Especially having this guy talk about his daughter, like, oh, daughter's like crawling. I'm like, oh, I want that.
Yeah, starting to walk.
Oh, yeah, that's what I want.
To you and
that's what I want, but not my books.
No,
for this year.
So you've been feeling stressed about that, though?
I want this. I want this so bad. It's almost scary. Even like at least my female is very like, you never know if it's going to work out. And it's like, she's right. And she was like, I want to be able to start a family and I want to be able to have a sustainable job. Yeah. It's like, I get your perspective, but it's like, it's tough. It's tough.
I don't have that problem that, because my wife, is like day one supporter.
Yeah.
She's
a supporter of what I do. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, she's an RN and she's kind of like done like a 9 to 5. And that's what I've always done, but I'm just like switching things up in life. I'm like, I want to do this now. And it's like, whoa, what's going on? So it's like, it's a little bit of a like turn, I guess.
It is. Yeah. I don't know. Cause like I said, my wife is not only day one, but she's like, burn the boats. She's like, burn the boats. You have no other option. Like when I get home, she's like, yep. She's like, burn them. She's like, you do nothing else besides succeed. She's like, that's it. That's the only move that you have available to play. Yeah. Is to succeed.
Yeah.
And she's like, you better do it. And she's like, you can. Mm-hmm. And she's definitely very like burn the boats kind of mentality with me, which is good because I'm the same way. I'm like all or nothing. You either do it and commit 100% and really focus, or just why do it at all? That's the thing is like, we were talking about goals and stuff like that. And I find it interesting because even though we've been doing this for, like a little over a year right now, your goal is still, you still, I feel like you want to pull back sometimes on goals and not reach as far as you think you could potentially hit. And then I'm over here and I'm like, I'm like, double it. Double your goal. I'm like, double your goal. I'm like, that's my year.
Because 2023 to 2024 goals, like we won't talk profit.
By the way, I know this is a podcast, but we're just kind of growing on topic and stuff. One of the most important things I could recommend if you're really serious about doing something, write it down. This is from last year. Like every single month, writing something down in here. Your notes, ideas that you have, anything like that. You go through, have a meeting once a month. Once a month, reassess your goals, whether it be finance, social media, whatever it is. You can niche it down into a specific portion. For example, like we're about to go over, social media goals.
Okay, so our goals for 2023, so last year, Aaron over here was like, this is what we're going to, he always reaches pretty high and I always reach pretty low. So we always try to like meet in the middle, which I think is personally great.
Yeah.
The date was December 2022 and these were the goals for 2023, okay? Aaron wrote these down. I'm like, there's no way. Like, I don't even know why he's writing that down. I don't even know. Like, I thought these were completely stupid. I'm like, this guy is on some drugs. So for TikTok, he was like, all right, I want 250K followers. And by the way, it sounds corny. It's like, oh, like, I want this many followers. It's understand, that's not what I mean in my head. It's more of like...
It's a vehicle to get you to another destination. You need followers in order to have growth in any aspect.
Exactly.
And that's, at the time, we didn't have any intention on starting PeachFit or the Peachcast or anything like that. We were just dipping our feet into social media and we're like, we hear that this could be successful and it's kind of like a career for some people and let's see what it's about, you know? And then over a course of 1 year, we went from nothing to having like 10,000 followers or whatever it was when we really started going hard to over a million. And it's gone quick, but here are the goals.
So TikTok, 250,000. We are currently we're at 890K. So we surpassed that. Like, I never would have dreamed of this. Like, this is insane.
I wanted 1 million in 1 year.
Yeah. Well, you never would even thought 1 million. No. But like, it's like you get to a goal, you want a next one. It's just how humans naturally are.
Exactly.
Instagram, 50K. Okay. And I thought Aaron is on, because I remember we were like 880 followers. I was like, Aaron, we're not even at 1,000, like 50K. You're like,
I'm like, 50K, we can do it.
You know what's funny is like halfway through the year, we're at like 5K. I'm like, there's still no way.
I think it was like 3 months.
Yeah.
It was like around March.
And then then it's just like, bam, we smacked it. And now we're at 304,000 followers on Instagram, 304K. What's funny is YouTube was 20K followers. And we reached 20K followers, I would say like just a few weeks ago. Yeah. But now we're at like 90,000 followers. It's just
subscribers on YouTube.
Or subscribers, whatever you call it. Yeah. We just blew up in the last month because we really started taking YouTube serious just like a month ago. So we went from like 5K to like 90K in just like a month. We smacked the goal on YouTube as well.
Another thing, discussing the goals, like you were saying in YouTube, starting this podcast has actually been a goal for a long time.
Yeah.
At least for me, I know it was because I've always talked about podcasts. I've always listened to them, and it's been a goal for me for a long time, but it was never able to come into play because of how busy we were trying to do other things. And now it's like we finally got there, and so we're able to do podcasts and gym vlogs and take YouTube more serious and do the 2 videos a week and other stuff like that, and really see how far we can grow. One thing I do want to say about these numbers and blowing up and stuff like that, you brought up Instagram, and at one point we were low, and I remember having this conversation.
It's outside of the gym.
Outside of the gym, yeah, exactly. We just got out of the gym. We were looking over things, and I'm like, dude, like we really need to put more effort. And at the time, you were just learning TikTok and really blowing up, and we're like, this is our main focus.
There's a way to blow up. Each algorithm is different, and you have to implement different things. Anybody could like do really good on social media. It's just like how to do it and like
trial and error.
Trial and error.
That's what I was gonna say. Was I remember having the conversation. I'm like, we really need to, like, if we're gonna hit this mark, we really need to hammer down. And you're like, give me a few months and we'll get it. And that's the thing, though, is trial and error.
Yeah.
Talking about trial and error, it takes a long time for anything to actually catch traction and get somewhere.
Yeah.
But we have met far too many people in the last year that say, hey, oh, you guys have gotten here. People that actually meet us and know both of us that we both do this together. It's hard to do by yourself. It would be.
It's almost impossible.
It's almost impossible.
Almost impossible. You don't have the brain power to like do it all. I'm not saying you can't, but it's like
But dude, what I was gonna say,
it's tough
regarding the aspect of putting in the work. We've met far too many people that have said they want to do social media, or that they want to get on it, or they want to start a business, or any sort of anything. If you have any sort of goal, stick to it. Write the goal down. Like December 2022, in 1 year, we were able to grow a profitable company. We're able to grow multiple accounts and followings and grow and actually have exposure.
Yeah.
If you have any sort of goal, no matter what it be, social media, weight, starting a business, going to school, changing habits, whatever it might be in life, write it down. Pull out a pen and a piece of paper, write down your goals, write the date at the top, write down whatever you want to achieve, and stick with it. Actually stick with it. How long does it take to create a habit?
I would say about 2 months.
2 months. 2 months of doing that thing every single day to actually create a habit. We've met a lot of people that I want to do on TikTok, and we'll give them tips. Like, you'll full on talk to them.
I'll straight up give. I want everyone to succeed.
Yeah, bring up as many people as you can. The more people that succeed, the better off everyone is. I'm trying to get the point here. Everyone wants to do it, but then they start doing it, and they realize how much work is actually in this and what it takes to get there. If the return isn't good enough, quick enough for the amount of work they're putting in, they'll quit. For example, YouTube podcasting. What is it like if you make it past week 6 or whatever on like podcast, you're in the top 1% of all podcasts ever made or something?
That says something.
And it's ridiculous. You can't even make it 6 podcasts. Can't even make it 6 videos. You can't do a task more than 6 times and get past that. It's like, how unbelievable is that? That's like saying you don't brush your teeth every day.
Well, now we have to hit podcast 6 now.
I know.
This is
podcast 2. Now we just look like jokers. You know? But that's kind of more of what I was getting at, is we've met a lot of people they'll post on TikTok. They'll post for a week of consistency every single day. And then weekend hits. The weekend hits. And that's what it seems to be. The weekend hits and they go, you know what? Take the weekend off. We're going to start on Monday. It doesn't work that way. Every single day.
In a way, don't have respect for yourself if you don't, stick to your goals or stick to the things that you say you're going to do. For example, you're going to go to work regardless. If you work at McDonald's, you're going to show up to your shift. Your boss is going to call you. It's just like you automatically do it. Even though you don't want to go and work your shift, you're going to do it anyways. So why can't you look at weight loss, or why can't you look at just goals that you want to achieve in life? Like, why? Just like really ask yourself that. And it's just like, I don't know. Why don't I?
Yeah.
So it's like, you just gotta.
I agree. And sticking to it, that's it too, that dedication. And moving on to another topic besides give it time. That's kind of where I wanted to finish with that. Sorry, I'm going all over the place. Give it time. Things take time to build momentum and to get you to a place. You can't expect to post for 3 weeks and have 1 million followers. For starters, the editing, the videography, the phrasing, the captions, the tags, the timing, everything that goes into stuff. You can't expect to do it in a week. It takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Yeah. It takes multiple times. Time.
People say, people want to have goals for like next week.
Yeah.
You want to look at goals like yearly goals or even 5-year goal. Like you want to be able to work on something for a long time. You can have little goals, but have little goals that lead up to the big goal.
Absolutely. I mean? So. And you can start with big goals, because for me, how do I even start? That was one of my main stoppers.
Knowing what your destination is a lot harder than trying to get there, right? So
I don't think so.
Well, think about it. Most people our age do not know what they want to do with their lives. That is the biggest stopper. So it's like, what do they want to do? And but the thing is once you find out how, let's say, for example, I want to be a nurse.
Yeah.
Let's say someone wants to be a nurse. Okay, that is a lot of times they can't figure out what it is. Like I just had a discussion with a friend yesterday. He's lost in life. He doesn't know what to do. And that's a lot of people. So it's like finding out what you want to do, right? So it's like, okay, let's just say random, you want to be an RN. Okay, now you have your destination. How do you get there? You have to go to school. What classes do you have to take? You have to break things down. So you have this large goal of, I want to be a nurse. And then you have these small goals that you want to accomplish monthly. I want to be able to have these classes done. I want to be able to have this paid off. So it's just like you have to work down to that destination, or you have to work down to that until you get, until you reach that goal.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going on the same thing. Because what I was going to say is you want the main goal. Figure out your main goal. And a lot of people I find they misunderstand what that means by finding a big goal in life, finding your life goal. Because people are like, I got so much life, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I don't know what career path I want to. That's not what we're talking about. Find something you're passionate about. Yeah. Well, what do you like to do? Like, what do you wake up and you're like, let's get to work on this?
For me, like I tried asking myself that a while back, and it's just like I had no experience with life, because it's like all I did was play video games. Yeah. All I did was eat. I was at home. How was I supposed to know exactly what I want to do if you're not experiencing life at hand?
That's a very good point that you brought up, because I was going to say I've always had a goal, because my main goal in life has always been able to be extremely wealthy. But I wanted to be extremely wealthy, not to own super nice things, but to give me freedom of life. I don't want to have to wake up and go to work. I want to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym, go to breakfast with a bro. Like how you live your weekends is how I'm trying to live my entire life. Yeah. Just total freedom. Spend time with my family. Go do things. Go places. Don't worry about how much I have to spend. If I want to take my family to, let's say an airplane museum or the movies or this and that, like I want to be able to go and do that. Yeah. And you were talking about you don't have any life experience. And as soon as you said that, it clicked in my head. I have a lot of life experience. I grew up traveling.
We grew up a lot different in a way. Yeah. Like I kind of had everything in a way handed to me.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
My family does pretty well.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of got things handed to me. So that just made me a lazier person. Realistically, I'm not going to lie to myself. I I grew up lazy due to that. So it kind of took me to, well, it took this guy really to like pull me out of that. So it's just like, I started wanting to do things myself. But a lot of people, I just feel like they don't even know where to start. Like they're just like, what do I want to do?
Get some life.
Realistically, if it wasn't for me losing weight, I wouldn't even know where to start. Because it's like, you need to build some sort of discipline first. This might sound really harsh, but if you are overweight, you are lacking discipline. And that's a hard pill to swallow.
No, but it's truth. Truth is hard to swallow.
But you are lacking some sort of discipline. Master discipline. Just master your health. Your health is your most important thing. Because like if I heard this somewhere, if I were to give you $10 million, would you take it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you weren't able to wake up that next day, would you take it?
No.
So what's that mean?
Life is more important than money.
Health is more important than money. So you need to prioritize your health. Master discipline, right? So at the end of the day, just master discipline. And when you do that, you're able to do so many other things. When I mastered being able to lose weight and stick to something, it opened up so many more doors. I'm able to do so many more things. Of course, my thing is like social media and like weight loss and things like that. But like, if we weren't doing social media, Aaron, I guarantee me and you, we would go in partnership and we would be the best like lawnmower business around. Yeah. Like we could do anything and we would make a lot of money. Yeah. Like we could do anything. If this wasn't what we were gonna do, me and Aaron would start like a lawnmower company, and we would be the best around. I'm not kidding you.
I really have to agree with you on that mastering discipline part, because I've gone my rounds with this, and it's funny because I think this a lot, because I've gone from being really, really fat to being in good shape to gaining weight again to being in shape to like gaining weight, and like I fluctuate from time to time, and I think life definitely does go in seasons. Yeah, it does. I can agree with that. There's times where you're going to be a lot more disciplined, a lot stricter, a lot more goal orientated than all. You're not gonna, like I said earlier, you're not gonna always be 100%. Yeah, that's impossible. I find myself in those times where I am super goal orientated, I focus more on fitness in my life. I put it as more as a priority because I'm like, I need to be healthy. I need to be fit. I really, because the fitness aspect keeps my mind disciplined. And that's the thing is I enjoy, like when I'm grinding really, really hard, I like going to the gym more than I do when I'm being a lazier person. Interesting. Which is very interesting. Like it's easier. Like when I'm grinding, it's easier to go to the gym for me. Yeah. Because I'm like, I'm already there. I'm already doing it. I'm in that mindset to do this. Yeah. So it's like doing it. I'm like, this is necessary. Yeah. Like I need to do it. This it's easy work. Versus when I'm not super in that mindset and things are just like, you're kind of waiting because the grind gets boring. It gets really stagnant. That most people don't I never understood that. I'll always hear these entrepreneurs say like the grind is boring. It's like it's the same thing every single day. Every single day. It just gets boring. It's just a constant like dread. Yeah. And it's like I never understood that. I thought the grind was like the final count. It's nothing like about the grind like it's made. Like you need to grind. You need to do this. It sucks. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. We don't like the grind. You literally wake up and do the same thing you did for the past 365 days. Yeah. And that is the grind. It was funny because when you left for your vacation not too long ago, it's like I found myself sitting there and I'm like, what do I do? I was like, I finished everything I had on the list today. And I'm like, realistically, I'm like, what do I have to do? I couldn't find something to keep me occupied. I was so bored because I'm usually so fixated on completing a task. Mm-hmm. And like Elena was gone at the time. Mm-hmm. She was out with her friends doing something. And so I'm like, and I already put Athena to bed. Wife and kid, yeah. And I'm like, what do I do with myself? I'm like, do I just go to sleep? And it's like 7:00. I'm like, do I just go to sleep? And it's a Friday. Let me call Jacob. Wait. Well, I'm like, wait, Jacob's gone. And it really made me think of how focused and goal oriented I became. I have no other friends. I have very few friends. I know. So you do have to make sacrifices. You do, and there's a lot of sacrifices in the process. But at the same time, we were just talking about this before we started recording. I am the happiest and the most in love. And I say in love with life for a reason, because I love to live. Like I love waking up, even my bad days. Like for example, I went home yesterday. I had a long day yesterday, and I went home in a pretty shitty mood. Like I went home and I sat there in my car for probably a good 15 minutes, just kind of listening to music before I even went inside. And I'm like, all right. Like, you ever get those days where you're just like, I just want to go to sleep so the day can be over and restart.
Yeah.
And it's like you get there and I'm in this mood and I walk in and Athena's there hanging out on the ground and sees me and gets all happy and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, like, what? Why am I feeling this way? I'm like, life is amazing. Like, I have a healthy baby. I have a fantastic wife, like best I could ask for, the best relationship I've ever been in, like so caring and giving and supportive and everything I have a fucking awesome best friend that supports me in everything and has the same ideologies and goals as I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, things are moving up and up and up and up in life. Like there's no down in my life. Like there's down days, but overall, like the longevity of 365 days, if we were to look at a graph, like life consistently has been moving up for me.
Yeah.
And so whenever I get in those down days, I always think about where I've come from.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've come from sleeping on the floor. I've come from being extremely poor. Like I remember, I think there's a time in everyone's lives, like that there's a click that you're like, I never want to feel like this again. And I know you have one for weight loss, but for me, my financial side of things that I'm like, cause I'm so dedicated to finance. Like I love business. I love money because it unlocks like a lot of life.
Yeah.
And one of my switches for me, I was in high school at the time. And I've been poor. I grew up poor. Like you were saying, you grew up kind of,
filthy rich. I grew up.
Everything handed to you. Yeah. And I grew up poor and had to work for things. And I mean, like I never went without. My parents made sure, I had food, I had shoes, I had clothes, I had necessities. Anything else I wanted, I had to go out and work for. Mm-hmm. So I remember my first job. I was like 7 years old when I got my first job, living at a trailer park. And it was Arizona. We lived in Prescott Valley. I would go door to door in the trailer park, and I would go and ask the people if I could pick up their cigarette butts out of their rocks for $5 a trailer.
That's awesome.
And me and my brother went around and started like a little business in the little trailer park. At like 7 years old, we would just go door to door and knock on the door and be like, hey, would you like us to come by once a week and come pick up all the cigarette butts out of your guys' rocks? So the front of your
trailer. It's like a monthly subscription.
Yeah.
$5 a month.
We'll just come by like once a week or whatnot, and
$5 a week. You multiply that with how many customers.
Right.
Entrepreneur. 7-year-old entrepreneur.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like I always had to work for things. Growing up differently, talking about that, like you were saying, when you said something, it made me come full circle about kind of finding a purpose in life.
Because that's such a corny question. Like, what's the meaning of life?
What's
the meaning? It's
to live.
Yes.
That's my meaning. Is just to live. But there's a deeper meaning. Like, yeah, sure, you can live, but there's multiple ways to live, and there's no right or wrong way. And I want to say that if you don't genuinely enjoy trying to become something, it just might not be meant for you. But the fact that you're watching this means that you want more from your life. If the title and the video like drew you in, you're someone that wants more from their life. And so when you said that, I came full circle because I've grown up in so many states. I moved every like 6 months to 1 year. I moved to a different state.
I've lived here my whole life.
I've lived in like 20 something states growing up in my life. And I've had so much life experience with different people, different friends, different teachers, different adults. My peers were always changing. So, and not only that, they were changing state to state. So it was like a whole different ideology every single state I would go in. And so I got this whole mixing pot of experiences. And I learned from a very young age that being poor is not fun.
No.
And doing enjoyable things is enjoyable. Like doing nice things, I like it, and I wanted more of it. And the only way to do that was to have more money. And so I figured if I could do something to get me there, then I'd be cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, but where is there? So having a big, broad goal, for example, like I just talked about, coming full circle in this, having a big, broad life goal. My goal was I need X amount of money in order to really live. And then, as Jacob was talking about, break it down into smaller goals. Okay, well, that's cool, but I'm not going to hop, skip, and a jump over to that goal because it takes time, trial, and error, just like creating a business, social media, anything like that. But breaking it down into, okay, what's going to help me reach that goal, even that small. Break it down into really like small chunks. Like, let's say you want $1 million. Well, you need to make $1,000 first.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to make your first 100 before you get to that million. So you can break it down to that. How are you going to make your first 100? How are you going to make your first 1,000? How are you going to make your first 10,000? Break it down into chunks like that. Same with weight loss. Same with anything else in life.
God, you sent me that video yesterday.
Yeah,
man.
I sent you that video. It's another thing about writing stuff down. You not only do you write stuff down, take videos. I have a video on my phone that I sent Jacob yesterday.
We could talk about that.
Yeah, that I sent Jacob yesterday. I don't remember the date. It was like January 4th, 2023 or something like that.
Literally last
year. We're sitting there and we're in the gym. It was like midnight. We were just getting a workout in. We just finished something up and we're like, hey, let's go get a workout in. It was midnight. And yes, we both worked full-time jobs. And managed to go to the gym at godly strange hours. We still do, yeah. But like godly strange hours. And I'm taking this video and I'm like watching this the other day. I'm like, what is this video? We're in the gym and we're like, show him Jacob. And Jacob pulls up his phone. He's like, we just got our very first payment from all of our social medias, from everything we do. We got this sponsor.
It was a sponsor.
It was a sponsor for something. And he holds it up and it's PayPal. $100. It was just hilarious, like looking back on it,
because we thought that was like it's a great milestone. It's like
massive milestone.
And you were saying like make your first $100 first. You know what I mean? So it's like,
how are you gonna make your first 100? Yeah. How are you gonna make your first 100,000? How are you gonna make your first $1 million? If you have some really really lofty big goals. So I don't know. Things just move. How do you get over those points of being bored for you specifically? When you feel really, really bored in life and tired of grinding, what keeps you going? Or how do, I know what you're going to say, but how do you get past that? Like if you're telling someone else, example, and they're like, man, like I don't know, I'm so tired. Like I just want to, I just feel like quitting. What do you tell them?
Let me ask you this. Yeah. When you're working at your job, why don't you just go home and quit?
I need a paycheck.
Okay. Why can't you look at life the same way? Why can't you look at your goals the same exact way?
Right. Yeah. I need to be here to survive.
Yes. Yeah. And just like but you need to be here for your own sake, because it's like if you're working your 9 to 5 just for a paycheck, like why can't you look at life life is so beautiful, and if you're just going to not have these goals and dreams and ambitions and you're just gonna like, oh, you know, that could wait. Like, why? You know, so it's like, I don't know, like,
and it's like people talking about, I say it all the time, sacrifice now so that you can have later.
My 20s are disappeared, by the way. I don't even, like, what did we do I can't even remember, like,
work,
just work, and it seems all nice and pretty and stuff like what I do, but it's a grind. It's a grind.
And that's the thing though, is getting to that point though of like,
I have breaking points, dude.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've cried before. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I've had times where I come home and I'm so, like, I kid you not. Again, relationships are so important. Pick the right person that fits your needs. Because I've come home at times, like I said, just disappointed. And having Elena there for me, world of difference. Having Athena there for me, world of difference. I've come home and, like,
Have your rock, for sure.
Have your rock. I had a mental breakdown, like, 5 months ago or something like that. And
she talked to you, and then afterwards we went to Dutch.
Yeah, we went to Dutch after that. Yeah. Because you called it. And it was like so much going on. And then something happened. And it was literally like...
Well, it's just time. Like, I know exactly. We don't want to get into that.
The straw that broke the camel's back, though.
Yeah.
Like, I always heard that stuff. Never experienced it until then. It was like the smallest drop overfilled the cup. And it was crazy.
Just one thing after
another. And then it was just like one extra drop and that was it. Everything just shattered. And it was like, I broke. And you pick yourself up and you fucking get to it.
You go get some Dutch with your best friend.
You go get some Dutch. That's what talk about it. But continue going. And I think having that mental break is almost like breaking, it breaks your brain was really what it does, but it breaks your brain to the point where it unlocks more. It's almost like going to the gym. How are you going to expect to grow by lifting weight that you can already lift? If you're not struggling, if you're not lifting more than what you can already lift, like if you're not, and that's where intensity comes in. If you're not kipping your heels trying to get it up, you won't grow because you're not forcing yourself to grow. Same thing with stress and tasks. If you're not exhausted mentally and trying to push past that barrier and trying to take more on, you're not going to be able to take more on one day. And,
you got to be uncomfortable.
You got to be uncomfortable.
If you're comfortable, like throughout your whole journey of doing whatever, you're not really going to grow. You need to be uncomfortable to grow. The thing is Aaron pushes me a lot of times to do things. And it's like, you have to be in uncomfortable situations in order to grow. For example, like starting out on social media, I did not want to like taking my shirt off and like looking in the mirror and posing is something I would never think I would ever do. But halfway through, it's like, I'm totally like, whatever, it doesn't matter. You have to be in uncomfortable situations in order to grow.
No one cares about it either.
Yeah.
No one cares about it.
I do want to end on this.
Yeah.
Again, if you're kind of feeling a little lost, I'm assuming most of the people in here are kind of like overweight. We grew up overweight.
Yeah.
And you just don't know what to do. You're overweight. You don't know what to do with your life. You kind of felt like how I felt. Start with your health first. Everything else could wait.
Yeah.
Your health is number one. And it's just so much more than a physical appearance when losing weight. You grow up and you're a completely different human. You have discipline. You have all of these other things that you never had before. And once you have that, you're able to tackle so much more. Yeah. And that's what happened with me. And I know that happened. That's what's really happened with you. And I know multiple other people. Destroy your old self. Yeah. Really become that person who you're supposed to be, get in shape, and then from there, you're going to be able to tackle so many other tasks just because of that discipline that you have now.
You will. So one thing, speaking on that note, with the very finishing ending, for starters, PeachFit. Talking about the health and wellness aspect of everything that Jacob had just mentioned, we built PeachFit with the mentality that we currently have.
We have.
The program has an entire mentality section that it talks about how to achieve like the things we did to get like to the mentality we have. If you listen to us talk and you relate and you're like, God, all these things sound similar, but I just don't know where to start or what to do. PeachFit. I'm not even kidding. Like you said, start with your health.
We put our heart and souls into this.
We did.
Because we realistically, when starting this, we were like, what would help us? Yeah. And like everything, again, you were talking about like trial and error. We failed so many times. We finally figured out something that like worked for us, and it's worked for many other people that have joined PeachFit and like they've lost over 100 pounds. It's like, it's really cool being able to say that like we've helped people. We have a lot of people. And it's just like, you know, if you're wanting to make a change and if you're ready for it, we're ready for it.
PeachFitWellness.com.
PeachFitWellness.com.
If not, links right below. It's also in the YouTube bio. I do want to say though, PeachFit is more than like weight loss. It's crazy because the mentality.
It's a community. It's you will become like when you master this, when you master PeachFit, when you master who your physical self, you also again master your mental self, and you can completely be
changes your life.
Everything. Yeah.
So if you're looking to absolutely just change your life and be goal orientated and decide that this is the year that you're going to do everything you've ever wanted to do.
It is your year. At the end of 2024, you are going to be a completely different person.
Absolutely.
All right.
PeachFitWellness.com. Also, our sponsored athlete, Alpha Lion. Get their stuff, alphalion.com. Code PEACH, 15% off. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow for more.
Helomix. Can't forget the Helomix.
Can't forget Helomix.
Helomix is the best shaker cup bottle.
It really is. I have one in my car right now. I use those as water bottles.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Something about them, I actually like them better than any canteen I've ever had.
Oh, easily. Yeah. Like I've never been one to like love like shaker bottles. Like who cares? But like so convenient, so nice, so slick. Many different colors.
That's it. Subscribe, follow for more, and we'll tune in for episode 3 sometime in the coming next week or something.
All right, we'll see you later.